Hey, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, or good night whenever you are looking at this. I wanted to say hello and I wanted to just talk about a few things. We are at the close of the year. It's December, is the last month. And I know these holidays can be quite difficult for many of us, especially those of us who have experienced loss and grief. And I wanted to encourage those of you that are going through grief to take the necessary steps and the actions to help you through this process. Also, to say that no one can tell you when to stop grieving and put a time limit on your grief. It's impossible. I know in January it would be 9 years that my beautiful mother transitioned, and I still go through somewhat of a challenge. And I am excited to be alive though, and I'm thankful that I had the opportunity to have her as a parent. Now, I just want to just share a few things with you. Uh, um, those of you that are going through family situations, and I know sometimes it gets a little sticky for many because we've been taught to put up with and put up with just because people are some kin to you. I often say just because someone shares the same blood doesn't necessarily make you family. It does make you kin. But family is a unit. It's that family protects, family helps provide, family helps you to grow. And so sometimes the people that you thought were family, you found out later on in life that they're only kin people. But I just want to share a story. I just want to start talking about life and how life happened for me. And sometimes we think situations that are negative that happens to us or that we have experienced in life, we think we take it, and sometimes it's a build up, and people hold on to bitterness and unforgiveness. And it's okay to forgive. Really, it is. It's okay to forgive people. Also, it is okay to know that forgiveness doesn't mean I have to reconnect or reconcile with you or eat with you. Um, we can forgive and keep people at bay because oftentimes people will violate, especially those who we call our family members. And it is so important to know that you have to draw lines. You have to draw lines in the sand, and you have to be able to say enough is enough. So I want to talk a little bit because those of you that have been following me, you know my some of my stories. I have several stories to tell, but you know one major part of the story. But also, I want to talk about the religious system that I grew up in. And these are going to be several parts. I can't do it all today. But the religious system that program those of us that have grown up in the church under that system where we experience a lot of manipulation, control, domination. It is the warping of the mind that they really teach you to depend on their ideology and their way of thinking, their way of doing things. And especially if you came into that organized religion system as a youngin, if you were young, or you just simply grew up in this system. And I've had some great times in this system, but I also experienced some horrific moments in this system. And I just specifically want to talk about um, um, like this whole manipulation and control and uh, this system that doesn't protect you from anything unless they can benefit from it. Sometimes people, they are only nice to you when they can benefit from you or when they think they can control you. But I remember growing up as a youngin', I was about 13, 14, 15 years old, in this organized system, and only to find out the system that I served didn't serve me. And so today it has put me in a different place in my life with this structure, with this system. And I'm in a great place. And I see it as life happened for me because now I know what to look for. I know how it works. I know how it operates. I can smell it from miles away. I can see the signs from miles away. And it's not all bad because it taught me something and it prepared me. I remember thinking as a youngin', why is it that this system or church or leaders or pastors or church folks, if they see you struggling with any parts of your life or you're going through anything that's negative, it's a negative impact that you think that's on your life, why is it that they would put their foot on your neck, or they drive to make you feel bad, or they don't embrace you, they don't show love, or they don't show any concern? Everything was just strict, especially coming up in my day. In my day, we couldn't wear shorts to take PE classes. We couldn't listen to any other music outside of gospel music, quote unquote. We couldn't hang around people that weren't like us, or at least in that time they taught against it. And listen, they only taught what they've been taught, but time moved on, and we most people don't evolve. A lot of people in that system doesn't evolve, and they don't learn, and they don't ask questions. They depend on a leader to tell them something. And so this is where I was as a youngin', because as a child you're taught to listen to adults, but now I can see that as a child, and you're growing up, and then you start asking questions. You start asking qualified questions like, why is this way? And then they can't explain it because they're only regurgitating the things that they've been taught in life. And so I remember several incidents happen. I remember the control factor, and to make you, if you do something contrary to what they believe, they'll say little things to try to control you and to alter how you feel. All control, manipulation, and domination. And those of you that have been in this system, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And so I just feel like that system prepared me to handle the same patterns that move through other people, because it's a system, whether it's family members, co-workers. My experience taught me something, and I'm an observer. Even as a child, I observed things. Didn't say much as a child, but I observed body language. I observed responses. I observed the tone that people spoke in. I observed that even as a child. Nobody taught me how to make observations. It was something innate. It came naturally. And I really feel like a lot of the things that I went through in that organized religion, that structure, under that organized, that system of belief, it prepared me for family stuff, right? There are people who would dislike you based on your giftings and what you're gifted to do. They would dislike you because other people love you. They would dislike you because other people rally around you or clap for you. And they are sitting there in jealousy and insecurities, and they have all of these things that they're going through. And you don't, as an individual, I didn't know it. Like, I did not know these people were insecure. I did not know these people were jealous. All I knew was they had a way of trying to put their foot on my neck, right? And if you were feeling down about something, they had a tendency of putting their foot on you to keep you down. And I asked the question, why is it that when church people see you going through or in a low place, that they don't reach down don't reach to you to help lift you up. They seem to put their foot on your necks and to do all they could to make you feel even worse about the situation that you may be experiencing. I've seen that for so many years as a youngin', and I just believe it prepared me for family stuff, jealousy. Sometimes growing up, you don't know because you're innocent. You think these people are your. Listen, we're supposed to stick together. We're supposed to protect each other. This is family, and you didn't know. Sometimes you didn't know that they were feeling a certain kind of way about you because they still played with you, they laughed with you, they ate with you, but inwardly they were having conversations with themselves and they were viewing you sometimes as a threat, especially when they feel a parent or parents are being a little stricter on them and not so strict on the other. I just believe parents treat their children or should treat their children according to their personality, and you can't say I treat all of them the same. You can't. We're all different people, and sometimes in the midst of a parent maybe being a little softer or not so aggressive with one, because one she had or he had to be aggressive with this one because they see a pattern and they know they got to sort of handle them with a strong arm. Because if they allow that to slide, then there's some other things that they may encounter with their children or with their child that may be detrimental in the end. So sometimes your siblings may even feel jealous because, of course, jealousy is their own insecurities, but they're looking at, well, this parent or my parents are handling this one differently than me, but we're all different. And sometimes they just grow up. You didn't know that they were jealous, and sometimes jealousy has always been there, insecurity has always been there, and eventually what they were experiencing as a child, it goes into their adulthood if they don't correct that, right? It gets into their adulthood and that thing ages. It gets old and it grows stronger. And they try to smile over it, they try to eat over it, but they can't handle. They've not done the work inside to try to clear up the insecurities that they feel and they felt when they were children. Or sometimes siblings would say, oh, they let you get away with murder. They let you get away with everything. But you have to also realize it depends on how many children or siblings you have. Like for me, and for instance, I'm going to use me for an example. My mother had 8 children. Now she had more. Some of them she had premature or whatever. She told me that it flushed out of her or whatever. But I'm the baby of 8, and the 8 living. And I think in total, my mother said she actually was pregnant 13 times. And I remember I have my oldest sibling is my sister, and then she's the only daughter that my mother had, and then you have the rest boys. And so each sibling got a different version of my mother. Now granted, my mother raised all of us by herself. Each of us got a different version of her. So she was younger when she had my older siblings. My oldest, I believe, should be 69, January the 5th, or 68, somewhere like that. I don't know the exact number. But my mother was younger when she had her. And so she got a different version that my other brothers got. And so as she kept having children, we all got different versions of her. And she was all that, and she was younger And so she had more energy, more strength, and also was learning to raise children. But at the same time, working, taking care of every child she had. And by the time I came along, I think my mother was 36 or 37 when she had me. My mother was tired. I mean, listen, each person got a different version of her. And so sometimes, because we get different versions of her, a sibling or siblings may feel like, well, she didn't handle me this way when I was growing up. Now, a lot of them are close in age, but you have to think about it. I think about it. There's versions of her I didn't get to see. And so by the time I came along, I'm the youngest. I'm number 8. My mother didn't have the same energy, didn't have the same speed, had already raised 7 prior to me. So I saw a different version of her. But they all saw, especially the older ones, they all saw the version of her when the younger ones came. So sometimes, though, siblings hold certain things against their parents and against their siblings for how the parent or parents handled them. And so they grow up with this frustration and attitude and anger and jealousy, insecurity, envy, strife. I had nothing to do with when I was born, the time I was born, and the version of her that I got. But obviously there are other siblings who have had these insecurities and how they felt about the version of her that I had an opportunity to have. Now, granted, let me just say this. I have been the Joseph in this situation, in this recent situation. But I really felt like the system that I was a part of, that religious system, prepared me for now, because I had an opportunity to see jealousy from people that said that they were my family in the church. And I didn't understand how people could be jealous, because I don't know what that feels like. Honest to God, I don't know what it feels like to be jealous of someone. Also, I remember being a part of that religious system. If they couldn't control you, they didn't want anything to do with you. Or if they couldn't control you, they would rally a team or a group of people and get them to feel about you the way they feel about you. It's crazy to me, because it says you don't have your own mind, and I'm not going to dislike you because somebody else dislikes you. I remember that leader in Palaca. That's just the type of leader she was. And I'm not going to wait till people die to start talking about my experience. I'm going to talk about it now. And I remember, if she hated you, she wanted everybody to hate you. Or if she had a certain feeling about you, she wanted everybody to feel that way about you. And if you showed any signs of feeling differently, she would call them in and question them, wanted to control how you handle people. And there are people who would dislike you for whatever reasons, not because necessarily you did anything to them. A lot of times people dislike you because they can't control you. And they will campaign. They would get their little group, and everybody that can be bent or twisted or coerced, they jumped on board with how somebody else felt. And I experienced that in the church. Now, only in Palatka, not when I lived in Atlanta. I didn't experience any of that with my pastor there. And it felt liberate. I felt freedom and liberation when it came to my leader in Atlanta. For me, Nathan Simmons, he never tried to control me. Well, I couldn't be controlled. At that point, I had just left a place that was very manipulative, controlling, and dominating, right? And they couldn't control me either, which is why they ended up disliking me. So I feel like all of that has prepared me for some of the things I'm experiencing now, present day, with those that I share the same blood with. I have, not my eldest, I have a sibling, my eldest brother, let me just say that, who for some reason I'm the baby, it's okay, didn't like the relationship that me and our mother had, and feeling some type of way about how people love me and how people clap for me and how people embrace me. But I do spend time in building relationships with people, even in my family, especially my nephews and nieces. I spent as much time as I possibly could to build. Some were too young or wasn't born yet, so some of the older ones I've built a good relationship with as an uncle. They love me for the most part. For the ones that hadn't been coerced by their parents. So I have an older brother who dislikes me. Sometimes people be in competition with how other people love you. And I'll share some more, but he has rallied around those he could get, other siblings. I went through this in the church, right? To get people to get other siblings to feel about me the way he feels about me. And so if they can't control you or they can't manipulate you, they'll do anything they can to try and destroy you. And so I'm saying this to say what I went through in that system in the church in Florida, in Palatka, I feel like it has prepared me for kin folks, for what I'm going through presently with kin people that has jumped on board, or he has coerced them into jumping on board with him and how he feels about me, and has built a team to fight, but they don't understand that they are carrying the hate of our brother and the jealousy of our brother. And so he got them to feel about me the way he feels about me. And so now it's all this commotion, because when you have a narcissist is not happy if there's no commotion or no drama. A narcissist will sit and strategize, pull people into their lie, into their insecurities, into their jealousy, and use them to fight, but won't be at the forefront of the fight, but behind the scenes. So that's what narcissists do. They get people to feel like them and see how many people they can get to feel like them about somebody that they don't like. And then they'll sit back and watch the fight, and they are controlling it on the telephone, and then they constantly spew these things into their ears until it starts forming into them, into the other people, a person, and they're not realizing that they are carrying the poison of the narcissist. The hate that they have is not even their hate. The poison that they have, that they're carrying, is not even their poison. They've been bitten by a snake, a serpent, and they're carrying the poison of the person that bit them. And they really have no reason to have so much poison venom and hate. But if you're not careful, if you're easily manipulated and you don't think for yourself, you're easily to bend and easily twisted, you'll find yourself carrying the hate, jealousy, strife, malice, insecurity of the person that bit you. And the person that bit you and has spewed their venom in you, they're sitting back. Now they're giving them orders, but they're hidden, giving them orders. So I experienced that in the church. So I know the signs. I know the patterns of it. I know. So I want to encourage you today, those of you that are in these systems, get out of these systems. You have to have your own mindset. You have to be able to think for yourself, and you have to have the courage to tell the person that is trying to spew their venom in you and poison your veins and your blood about somebody else that has done nothing to you. You have to be able to have the guts, the balls, and the courage to tell them, this has nothing to do with me. I don't want any parts of it. All right? This is only a portion of the conversation I'm going to be having. I wanted to have this conversation, and I think it's important because so many people are going through the same thing, and I want to tell you how to get around it and get over it and get through it. And I want you to know that you're not alone. When you have family feuds, church feuds that say they're your family, I'm going to help you. I'm going to share my stories with you, and I'm going to tell you how I got through them, how I'm getting through them. But always watch patterns. I don't care what people say out of their mouth. If their action says, whatever their actions are, that's what you believe. Not out of your mouth. And not out of their mouth. Don't believe what they say. Believe what they do. Y'all have a great day. Hey, matter of fact, hit that like button and subscribe. Share this video with someone.